Handa was an ugly, disgusting, worthless loser, who lived his life believing he was hated by everyone around him, even though he was actually admired by every useless moron in his class. When he opened his locker that day, he saw a letter that fell from the inside. But the dumbass thought it was one of the death threats he used to receive in middle school, so he crumpled it and threw it into the trash. Turning back to leave, Handa was confronted by an ugly girl with a big ass head named Juri, who called him a jerk for throwing away the love letter that her friend Mako had stayed up all night just to write. He didn't listen to what she said though, because he was so sure that Minecraft Head wanted to fight him, and with nowhere else to go, Handa asked the dumbass bitches to say what the fuck they wanted from him. But to his surprise, Mako said that he should meet her behind the gym after school, and Handa began to think of all of the possible ways that he could get his ass kicked by the end of the day. He decided to free his mind by doing some artwork in class, but when the teacher noticed this, he called Handa to the front and told him to solve the complex math equation on the board. Because he was a natural badass in this world, Handa wrote down the answer with his paintbrush without even thinking, and he went back to his seat to think of how to reply to Mako and her oversized bodyguard. Juri caught him staring at her and she immediately thought that he wanted her to give him some gawk gawk 3000 with her massive head. But she couldn't imagine ruining her friendship with Mako just because of a guy. However, when Handa dropped a letter on her desk without saying a word, Juri's body began to glow, and she started freaking out because she thought that Handa was in love with her instead. Later that afternoon, Mako walked over to their class to eat lunch with Juri, but when she started bragging about how she was the prettiest girl in school, Juri decided that she was going to steal Handa away from her. The school period was almost over and Handa was freaking out because he still hadn't thought of a way to face Mako, and he wondered if he could just avoid the whole situation by running away. But with everyone standing behind the gym waiting for him to show, Handa grabbed his bag and walked outside like a boss to meet the two ladies that he had no idea were madly in love with him. Asking them what the meeting was all about, Juri told him to stop playing dumb and Mako walked closer to give Handa another love letter. But Juri immediately smacked the paper from her hands. She lied saying that it was an accident, but Juri kept on doing the same thing over and over again until she held Mako in a chokehold while Handa watched the both of them in confusion. She told Handa to stay away from Mako because the bitch was just a cutie with a black heart, and Juri also said that she didn't deserve him because her head was shaped like a building block. However, Handa didn't understand what the fuck she was saying, so Juri pinned Mako to the ground and started humping her in different positions to show him how painful it would be if they developed plot with each other. She told him to forget them and move on with his life, and because Handa was already fed up with their stupid cat fight, he just turned around and walked away like nothing ever happened. But before he left, Handa told the girls to cherish their friendship over other things, and when Mako tried forcing him to read her letter, he told her to write to Santa instead for a bigger cup size.
Yo, that one there was a violation, personally I wouldn't have it.
Mako just stayed there crying until it was almost dark, and because she didn't like seeing her friend like this, Juri said that they should work together to make a love letter that Handa couldn't resist. The next day at school, the teacher told everyone that it was time for them to vote for a new class rep. And because he had held the position for the last 10 years, Aizawa was very sure that he would win again. But because of his sudden popularity, Handa was also nominated for the position this time around, and Aizawa wondered what Mr. Heartbreaker could possibly gain from trying to take the title away from him. However, Handa felt like his classmates were only trying to make his life miserable by nominating him for the position. But he secretly went along with it in the hopes that Aizawa would defeat him. When the votes were counted, the teacher noticed that Aizawa and Handa both had the same number, so he suggested that they break the tie with a simple game of rock paper scissors. Aizawa was pissed that he was willing to make such an important decision using a childish game. But when the rest of the class said that they were okay with it, Aizawa agreed to settle the score once and for all. Because he wanted him to win, Handa told Aizawa that he was going to throw rock each time. And while everyone was shocked by this move, Aizawa wondered if Handa was really telling the truth or just trying to manipulate him. He decided to forget what Handa said, but Aizawa lost the first round and so he begged the teacher like a sad little baby for another chance, after which he won the second round against Handa. The guys were tied with 1 point each and all Aizawa had to do was throw paper in the last round to win. But the dumb bat started thinking about all the different outcomes of the game. He decided to trust his mind again, and so Handa defeated him without even trying. But Handa was convinced that Aizawa had tricked him into taking the crappy position away from him. And with no other choice left, Handa said that he was going to step down from being the class rep because he had other important things to do. But Aizawa stopped him saying that he couldn't just quit like that. Handa told him to get a life before walking out of the classroom, and although everyone felt like he was being rude, Aizawa stood up for Handa saying that his actions had just taught him the true meaning of leadership. Because of this, Aizawa decided to give the title back to Handa, but when Handa came back and saw his name on the chalkboard, he got so angry thinking that all of his classmates hated him. However, Aizawa said that he was the one who had stepped down for him instead, and he told him not to worry because he was willing to do all the work despite not being the class rep. Meanwhile, just outside of class, all the girls were going crazy over a new student named Rio who was a handsome teen model with long hair, glass skin and an attractive smile. Rio had a reputation of being the hottest guy in school until Handa suddenly became more popular, and so he was forced to share his fanbase with a creepy loner that had no fashion sense. Rio asked the girls who was hotter between Handa and him, and although they told him that he had a prettier face, the ladies said that Handa was more attractive because of his mysterious and gentle nature. Pissed off by their words, Rio decided to follow Handa around all day to find out what made him so special. But all he was able to discover was that